The story of this forbidden anime begins with a boy named Oda getting the Hawk-Tua maneuver from a girl named Fujimiya. After that, he meets up with another girl named Akazuki, who gives him his daily dose of freshly baked, warm apple pie. It's safe to say that Oda is living the life that many of us only dream about. Believe it or not, things weren't always like this for Oda, and that's because he also used to be a candidate to become a 40-year-old level 99 wizard. Everything changed for him when the mysterious Hypnos app force installed itself onto Oda's phone one day. At first, Oda wonders if it was from one of the sketchy sites he visited while looking for a new game. When he inspects it further, it says it will allow him to order ladies around using the app's demonic powers. He immediately thinks it's a scam because it's 2024, and he can get cancelled for doing something like that. Of course, he thinks about uninstalling it right away for safety purposes. However, he isn't able to because his teacher scolds him for playing with his phone in class. After class, Oda meets up with his buddies, who tell him what happened earlier wasn't a good look for him. The boys then start talking about nerdy stuff, unaware that Fujimiya is observing them. Unable to hold herself back, Fujimiya makes fun of them. Not only that, but Akazuki also steps in to add insult to injury. However, instead of focusing on Oda and his friends, Akazuki quickly turns her attention to Fujimiya. Akazuki tells Fujimiya that she's an even bigger eyesore than the boys because of how she dresses. You see, Akazuki was probably raised to be prim and proper. That's why she always clashes with Fujimiya, who is more, let's just say, free-spirited. As the girls argue, Oda contemplates how he's at the bottom of the hierarchy. Of course, you shouldn't be too surprised about that because that's how it typically goes if you're hanging with creepy dudes who do nothing but compare digital waifus all day. He loses hope and accepts that he'll likely become a level 99 wizard like his nerdy friends. While Fujimiya and Akazuki continue arguing, Oda finally looks at the Hypnos app again and figures he'll try it. He points his phone at Fujimiya and commands the app to make her use the forbidden Holy Flash skill on Akazuki. To his surprise, it actually works. Fujimiya casually Holy Flashes Akazuki while telling her to stop bothering people. Akazuki is also surprised that Fujimiya would do such a thing and asks her what she's doing. Strangely enough, Fujimiya doesn't seem clueless about what she has just done. As for Oda, he looks at his phone in disbelief, wondering if the Hypnos app actually works or if his mind is just playing tricks on him. When he gets home later, Oda is shocked to see a girl he doesn't come out of his shower. Moreover, Oda's legs go weak when he sees her using her default skin, something he never thought he'd see in real life. He asks who she is, and the girl introduces herself as Rina, a demon and the representative of the company behind the Hypnos app. She reveals that Oda is one of the lucky few chosen to beta test Hypnos. The company has designated her as his support staff to assist him throughout the process. Of course, Oda is skeptical about her claims, but Rina gives him her card, which looks legit. Realizing his mind isn't just playing tricks on him, Oda decides to call the cops and report Rina for trespassing. Rina panics and quickly explains how Hypnos works to Oda, hoping it will change his mind about her and prevent him from reporting her to the police. Rina explains that Oda can make any woman do whatever he wants with the app. However, he still needs to pay for it because the company still needs to make money. Despite that, Rina believes it's still a special privilege for Oda to have access to such an app. Oda feels everything that's happening is too shady. However, he can't help but think that it could easily turn his life around if it happens to be the real deal. So, the next day, Oda contemplates using the app on Fujimiya, and Rina is beside him, supporting and urging him on. Of course, since he's basically right in front of her, Fujimiya notices Oda and calls him out for staring at her. Before she leaves, Fujimiya makes fun of Oda again, which finally makes him make up his mind and use the app. In an instant, Fujimiya takes him to her lair and shows him the forbidden Hawk-Tua maneuver she's been mastering. As advertised, the app makes Fujimiya give what Oda wants. Forget about racking your brains out all day trying to figure out the best riz to use. Hypnos skips all that and gets you from point A to point B instantly. No fuss, no muss. Oda can't help but admire Fujimiya's duck face. It's one of those things that he never thought he'd actually see in real life. Despite it being his first time receiving the Hawk-Tua treatment, Oda actually shows some endurance. Eventually, because the time is right, Oda gives Fujimiya a hefty dose of his fresh and organic protein shake, which she then consumes with great gusto. Much to Oda's surprise, Fujimiya isn't done yet. She asks him to also give her some of his freshly squeezed apple juice to drown all his protein smoothly. Oda is in disbelief that she would ask something like that. However, it happens to be the right time to harvest his apple juice, so he thought he might as well give in to her request. Once again, Oda can't believe Fujimiya is drinking his freshly squeezed apple juice right after devouring his protein shake as if it was nothing. Before she leaves, Fujiyama tells Oda to call her again whenever he feels like sharing his protein shake and apple juice. Once outside, Hypnos effects wear off, and she's confused about what just happened. Strangely enough, she simply brushes it aside and moves on. The next day, Oda eavesdrops on Fujimiya and learns she has no recollection of what happened. He now feels more confident about the app's reliability, making him decide to finally go all out and order a full-course meal. Not long after that, Fujimiya meets up with Oda on the rooftop. There, she presents her freshly baked warm apple pie to him and gets ready to have it appreciated using the forbidden Cerberus technique. Oda can't stop himself from admiring Fujimiya's wonderful apple pie. He feels lucky because, normally, he would never get a chance to see such a marvel. While Oda is still spacing out, Fujimiya is already getting impatient. She tells him to stop dilly-dallying and get to work appreciating her apple pie already. Since he isn't one to keep a gorgeous lady like Fujimiya waiting, Oda appreciates her apple pie. Much to his surprise, its seal of freshness is still intact. Oda can't help but be baffled because he expected Fujimiya's seal to have already been broken, given how she usually acts. As for Fujimiya, she can't help but gasp for air as Oda begins his appreciation. Of course, Oda is celebrating because he finally managed to make his dreams of appreciating Fujimiya come true. He is also quite happy about being the first one to appreciate such a fine piece of apple pie. As the appreciation continues, Fujimiya asks Oda how her apple pie is. She then tells him to be grateful for being the one to actually break its seal of freshness. For some reason, Oda is triggered because he recalls Fujimiya making fun of him for still having his seal of freshness intact, and it turns out she's in the same boat as him. However, all of that goes out the window as Oda starts zoning in on Fujimiya's apple pie. He's overwhelmed by how wonderful it is and realizes he just can't get enough of it. Fujimiya encourages him to stop holding back and go plus ultra because she's ready for it. So, Oda accepts her requests and goes berserk. Sadly, you wouldn't be able to tell it when you watch this forbidden anime because it was made by Queen Bee, and as always, it's like watching a slideshow most of the time. However, I must say that it is one of the better animated titles they have to offer. Anyway, Fujimiya continues to cheer Oda on, saying he can continue to go berserk on her apple pie. She then tells him that she can feel that it's almost time for her to step on Legos. Oda can't help but admire the fact that he is making the usually overly confident and mean Fujimiya show an unbecoming womanly face because of his appreciation skills. Meanwhile, Akazuki finds Rina dozing off while blocking the stairs and going to the rooftop. It seems she was supposed to be Oda's lookout, but she's too busy dreaming about showers, probably. As for Akazuki, she wonders who Rina is and feels like she doesn't belong there. She then reads the sign Rina has put up, saying the rooftop is under construction. Akazuki immediately finds it strange because it's something she wasn't made aware of by any of her committee members. She feels something is fishy and can't help but be curious about what's happening up there. Back to the rooftop, Fujimiya can't help herself from making fun of Oda's performance. She goes on to look down on him again, demanding that he should get fiercer. Annoyed, Oda tells her to learn her place and just keep quiet. He can't believe that even if she's already under the effects of hypnos, Fujimiya's personality is still the same. Tired of her running her mouth like always, Oda tells Fujimiya to shut it. However, Fujimiya doesn't back down and orders him to do it himself. So, Oda gives her a taste of his tongue twister skills, hoping it would be enough to get her too busy to continue speaking. As he continues to appreciate Fujimiya, Oda says that he doesn't like girls like her at all. However, he does admit that if she keeps on showing him such a cultured face, he wouldn't be able to hold back at all. Fujimiya tells him to stop holding back and just deposit all of the protein shakes he has saved up so far directly into her hydro flask. Since he's not one to deny a lady's request, Oda does exactly as she wants. After that, Oda takes the time to watch Fujimiya gasp for air as his protein shake overflows from her hydro flask. What the two of them don't realize is that Akazuki, who got curious about what Rina was guarding, is hiding behind the wall, shocked after she caught what they were doing in 4K.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.